of Lekki axis is a water basin. Water basin, you see the way God creates the dynamics that God puts within the earth is that some areas, the uplands, the lowlands, we take the waters from the lowlands, from the highlands, and of course we discharge into the rivers. So these areas, these wetlands,
yes,
most times the activities of men and the pressure of urbanization, you understand, put pressure on it. You have find people building along that area, and of course the volume, the quantum of water that place is supposed to take eventually is actually reduced. And when water, they say we always find this level. So the question is, and because this time around the volume of water is increasing every year, because rain is also increasing every year now. So the point is our water bodies are also having a lot of water. So when they are having a lot of water and you're also encroaching on them, definitely you find that flooding will be inevitable. So these are some of the things that we do that affect.
That's human, man-made.
Yes.
Some of the options and some of the decisions we do must be responsibility for.
Yes, exactly. And then of course,
somebody approves those houses, or are you saying to me right now that there are houses in Lagos that are not a lot of houses in Lagos that are not approved?
Well, I mean,
even those are the urban areas.
No. Let me say this. For us here in Lagos, I think to a large extent, the planners, they are working.
Yes.
There are policies from government.
Yes.
And there are rules and rules to follow to get building permits and whatever. And that's why I say that there's no way you will not, because of the pressure, the demand for land, you'll find that some areas will be seeded sandfield. You understand? For this development to come up, just because. So these are some of the things that it's inevitable we have to.
Let's talk about solutions, Mr. Daisi.
Exactly. Well, solutions.
We emphasize more rain in September, according to.
Now, for solutions, I can tell you that there's different types of solutions that we can bring in. Number one,
ones, because
it's
like
practical ones. Yes, practical, very simple, very simple ones. Number one, let's make sure that our drainages are serviceable.
But how is it possible? Because Tomisin, the other day I was talking about the pipe that the Lagos State government is going about
laying in your area.
It's not. I realize that it's almost everywhere in Lagos. I have a lot of videos about that. Those pipes.
These cyber pipes or whatever.
Some said it's not even cyber, and all that. Like I want to make my own residential area as a case study now. We had very well. We had good drainage. All that area on Isolo Road. Fashola, did that the Isolo Road from Daleko to Mushin before he left, and he did the drainage and everything. And 2 years ago there was a serious flooding, and after about just 5 minutes, everything come. Now we find out that they have come, they have dug those places, and those places, they have damaged some pipes. Those places have been there for several weeks now, and
been replaced.
They have not, and you now find out that dirt, sand, a lot of things
are now falling into the drain.
Yes.
So which is not even the fault of the residents now.
Okay.
So where do we go? And I don't see these things being remedied before September.
Okay.
But September is just around the corner.
Yes.
So what do we do?
We are we're discussing it. Solutions.
Yes.
You have just identified one area in your own little domain there. The idea is this, for example, what you are doing. Of course, infrastructures will continue to come up.
Yes.
Different infrastructures will need to come up. And that's why Lagos State have an agency that is in charge of that to give license to people who will have to probably, like what you said, break some areas to lay pipes, to lay some utility pipes and what have you. They have been mandated. I know that as part of the licensing is that they must remediate, they must put back
What they say, what
they want remove, they must put it back. You understand? At least as it were. So that's one solution to make sure that some of these things are actually followed up. The regulatory agencies follow up that they do it and make sure that it's done properly.
So we need to pick that up. And
I just hope so, because they lose a lot of residents.
I mean, that's what we need to encourage. Let our agencies who are supposed to be in charge and monitor all of that, make sure that they're working. And of course, with this platform that we are using now, of course, we're speaking to them so that they'll be able to address it. Number two, there are making sure that our drainages are serviceable to the extent that all the things that can clog it, removing vegetations, the roots of trees, all debris and what have you, remove it, clean them. And I know that Lagos State government is doing fantastically well in that area. I know that a lot of canals are being cleared now to receive this storm water even as the rain is coming. Number three, there could be some instrumentation of urbanization from the planners. I want to say now there should be a regeneration of new ideas, new policies. For example, in China, in Wuhan, there's they created what they call sponge city.
Okay.
Sponge city, how does sponge city work? All the storm waters, the rainwaters, they are collected. When they are collected for reuse within the city, either for irrigation, either for flowering, wet of plants, either for clean up to reuse and drink for household use. You understand?
I think that's something like that in Florida.
Yes. So that we need to begin to look at creating a sponge city. So our urban and regional planners should be looking at that area for us to be able to design. If there is a will, there's a way. If there is a political will, see, it's a lot of designs are actually there. You understand? In the files there in Alausa here, I can tell you for sure. But the truth of the matter is this: implementation of these projects is also key. And resources are very scarce and they are competing. So you may not necessarily be able to evaluate and be able to say, what can flood do? Let's leave flood for now. Let's deal with
COVID-19 came and
you understand that kind of thing. So that's then we should begin to encourage what I call vegetation on our rooftops. You understand what I mean? Okay, good. Now,
rooftops.
Green, yes. We say we have green tops. You understand? Let's begin to encourage that and put that in as part of our design, especially in Lagos.
Let's talk about things that are visible.
No, I am saying that we are looking at solution now. We shouldn't be looking at just clearing the drainage, clearing canals, doing what do you call it now? Talking to people about rain is coming. Yes,
We've been doing all of that.
We've been doing all of that.
That's
I'm
our solutions.
it's not saying that some of these solutions
we should
will come
step up our
as
game now.
some of these solutions will come as a long term and a short term. Like this one I am talking about is a long term solution. We need to begin to look. Let us see we still continue to receive visitors.
Exactly.
So
Our population is ready to swell.
Yes, more and more. We need to begin to think of how we're going to begin to grow vertical in our housing. Yes.
Go up more.
Yes, go. So you can't spread again. You can't spread again. So the idea is you need to go up. How do you go up? It will also come with its own challenges.
I
You
don't think
understand?
we should even begin to pull money together to build houses.
Yes, I mean collapse, and then of course that's another discussion. But the question is, some of these problems that we're looking at and the solutions that we need to look at how we need to get the long term and the short term. For example, we need to let our people who are building on the floodplains, we need to stop them. We need to stop them. I know that activities around the river sides is also social, cultural and economical.
Yes.
You understand? Because some people are actually located, that's their habitat, that's where they were born and all of that.
That's where they've been all their lives.
All of their lives. Then of course we should be looking at house on pilotis. House on pilotis meaning, okay, you know, like those ones that you see at is it what is the name of this place that where you are Third Bayland Bridge? Makoko.
Yes.
House on pilotis, you know, they're on top of
the water.
Do you think we're right for that?
Yeah?
Do you think we are actually right for that?
Come on, why are you saying we're not? Okay, let me tell you. Are people not living there all this while? No. I'm asking you now. Yes, people, yes. Are people not living there? All we need to do is to regulate the kind of constructions they are doing.
Can be done there.
That's what all we need to do is to regulate how they manage their waste, their waste waters and what have you, how those things that will not be discharged into the water bodies that will affect the lives in the rivers. So these are some of the things that we need to be looking at, of course, and then policies. We need to make sure that our policies are actually made to work. You understand? Are made to work, and enforcement must follow.
You know, you were talking about political will earlier, and
Yes.
we've been talking about pulling down houses that have, faulty structures, faulty foundation, built along the river basin and the riverbeds for a very long time. Many of them are still there, not having been moved or shaken. As a matter of fact, when you go to some places, you hear things like, "Auntie, don't video my house, don't video my house. I don't want them to come and put down my house." So, everybody here is hiding. I know it's quite shocking for me that some of these buildings are even within the city. Some of them are even in places that are not hidden. We're not talking about the Majido now. We're not talking about Majido. We're talking about places in the heart of Ikosi. We're talking about places in Okoba. We're talking about places in Okwebi. And you're asking the question, these are in the heart of the city, very close to the government house. These are places that naturally, but maybe because of the bigger buildings all around, you tend to look away from them and not see them. So I come back again and I ask, if we talk about political will, this is not the governor not doing the right thing. This is about the offices that are set up for this purpose. How do we get them to function correctly? There are the Ministry of Lands. I'm sure we have Ministry of Urban something.
Yes. See, you. I think we want to go into what I call building regulations now. I mean, but the idea is this: so many houses are already marked for demolition. For demolition, as we speak in the state. I can't remember the number now, Now, to demolish doesn't come cheap. I tell you that. It doesn't come cheap.
The process.
It doesn't come cheap. You need to mobilize equipment there, and then don't forget those equipments and then you also need to manage the building so that it will not collapse on the other buildings that are around. So a lot of resources has to go into that. I'm not here to defend the government in terms of why shouldn't they have removed all these houses, as it were.
Where did they relocate the people to?
No, wait a minute. When you want to, of course, Lagos State government has so many
Camps
that they can take people to. You understand, where there are issues like that. But where you have your house is a distressed house, government cannot be responsible for you. But where you have disaster, then government may be readily available
to help
you, give you a kind of succor within that short period to absorb the shock for you, and then of course
like people in Badagry, they get about 20,000 each. They have 500,000 for some people.
Yes,
200,000.
Like those people when a house collapsed at I think Lagos Island, they took some people all the way to the camps at along the Bar Road or something like that. So that's what government can come in to do that. But what I'm saying here is this: all these houses that are along the floodplains, most of these houses, go and check them out. They are shanties. Some of them are poorly built. They don't take elevation seriously. You understand? And then the class of people that you see around that area are very low classes.
Well, as much as
that they just find that place
as a refuge.
You see, I would not totally agree with you on this, because if you go towards Ajaleki.
No, I'm not talking. That place already reclaimed. That is a reclaimed land. You understand what I'm saying? That one is a reclaimed area. Are you with me? So already the level already has been increased. You understand?
You're talking about places in Majidu.
Yes. You see, I'm talking about places around Majidu and around the coast of River Niger, River Benue. Go and check all these places. Many of those places are occupied by fishermen who live by the river there, and then of course, yes, and then of course, by the time they cover that place, the land behind them, you find people building behind them, and then of course, like that, and all those areas are actually flood-prone areas. They have, so that eventually, when the water comes, for example, water will come all the way. River Benue is coming from Cameroon.
Yes.
River Niger is coming from Guinea, Mali, then it enters into Niger, Benin Republic, Nigeria.
Okay, before we
that is the course of the river. Now, along that course, you have dam, you have the Shiroro Dam, Kenji Dam. If those dams, if the waters, if heaven is open, maybe say in Mali or in Niger or those, the water will flow down here, and of course the dam
will be overflow.
And then immediately, so that the dam will don't want the dam to collapse. We open it up.
Before we let you go, we have just few weeks before the heavy downpour now, and we know we have a big issue at hand now, and we know the commissioner has advised that probably people relocate, and people should be wary and all that. Within these few weeks, what can because you can't tell me, even I as a person, you can't tell me to relocate within 2 or 3 weeks thereabout. What is the present solution that could be preferred?
Let me tell you how this thing. Let me tell you how it works. See, all those people living within those areas, when the rain comes or when the flood comes, they will leave. When the water recedes, they come back.
Oh.
Yes, because most of the time you find that their economic activities is actually there.
So they have to go back.
Yes, the economic activity is
Dry season apartment house.
Yes, then of course.
But for those of us who live in the city, because I can tell you, I don't live on the river basin. Mr. Daisi Osho.
Yes.
My house was flooded last year for the first time in 2 years.
Okay, how come? Let's where is
Ikosi.
Ikosi. Yes. What could have happened? Let me tell you what could have happened.
I even know because I saw that the canal that led towards my house was overgrown with vegetation, filled with a lot of sand, and then
the activities of the neighborhood too. They throw away
their refuse, and then houses had been built on the canalway, and the canal at some far end had turned into a drainage and not a canal.
Yes,
I need to let you go. The conversation needs to continue on the Bumper Breakfast. Of course, we will do our best to continue to educate everyone about flood alert until the rains come and they go. But next is sports. Thank you so much, Mr. Daisi Osho, for joining us this morning.
A pleasure.
Thanks for allowing me.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We'll be seeing you again soon, but Stanley waits by to give us sports report for this morning.
Going out of the house these days, no be am at all. All the work where I get to do, I try do am from inside house. But a few times, like once or twice a week, I got to comot to go the neighborhood store to buy food and other essentials. And when I'm out, I avoid crowded places and try to be at least 2 meters away from people. And me too, if I'm sick, I stay at home. But when I'm out and I feel like I want to cough or sneeze, I do that into my flexed elbow. Or I cough or sneeze into a tissue that I will dispose of in a bin. If I see person where I know on my close party, I dey hail them from far. You see, my people, it will take heroes to stop the spread of COVID-19.
Be a superhero. Save your friends and family, community and country from coronavirus disease known as COVID-19. You are the superhero that Nigeria is waiting for. Will you answer the call?
Imagine this.
Employed on the right of the back three. Doesn't completely suit him not to be in this. Confidence is, well, boundless at the moment. Them as well.
Say that as well, the best defence, scored the most.
Here's D'Ambrosio getting a free kick. Patrick supplying the ball to Marlos there. And they've got a chance of contesting the final. They do look after the ball, as they say, for Euro 2020, which will become Euro 2021, whatever they're going to call it by the time that arrives. Here's Barella to Lukaku. Martinez. It's fallen nicely to Junior Marais.
And Lukaku, they're playing like a flat line, there's nobody really.
Star for so long at Atletico Madrid, and you might remember scored for them in the Champions League final. From Piatov to Barella. There comes Martinez, that's 1-0. Inter with their first chance, tuck it away. And that really was a giveaway by Shakhtar Donetsk, but you give him a chance, Lautaro Martinez, he's going to put it in the back of the net 8 times out of 10, you'd say. 20 goals for the season for him now.
Great delivery, wasn't it? On this right-hand side.
Matt Bayenko. Martinez again. Clash of heads, it's going to be a free kick here to Shakhtar. And there's some blood as well, which will necessitate a Dodo, playing it wide, playing in the number 10 position, Alan Patrick. He's got 4 goals in the Europe. It's not been found. It's gone the other way to Barella. Good looking cross, Martinez, Lukaku, and somehow that stayed out.
No, I wasn't on set first. Yeah, we're back again, and it's still the bumper breakfast. But of course, you know that a lot of things does happen, behind the scenes. And of course, we need to tease Stanley a little bit this morning.
For what now?
He seems to be wearing the Nigerian jersey. Good morning, Stanley. How are you doing?
Tomisin, good morning. YK, good morning. Even though when I came in, I requested that YK do something.
No,
don't worry.
You can't do that on my side. I really would not allow.
Tomisin, we all the sets together.
No, on this particular occasion, it's my set. I get to determine
welcome
who does what to who.
Welcome to reality.
I get to decide who does what to who.
Is somebody jealous? YK. Tomisin, let's discuss sport.
Well, it's sports time, and I'm particularly interested. No comment. Look, I would tell what you people were trying to do behind me. I would tell people what you...
Total disclaimer, Lagos, Nigeria.
Nothing can be used against me.
God bless you.
You said from my mouth, right? And then it will be my word against yours. And you're already ganging up against me. Friday is my birthday.
I witness, how many years. Let's not go there. Let's talk sports this morning.
My first sports story for this morning, NFF gave a relief fund to the leagues across Nigeria. And I had to ask Stanley last night, Stanley, how many people have gotten theirs? Because usually some of these things happen on paper, and then it takes donkey years to get the money. And coincidentally, the money is not even from them. The money is from CAF and the rest of the world who gives them money. But have people gotten? That's the point.
First things first, let me start by saying this is a relief fund from both CAF, FIFA, and of course our sponsor, name withheld. Let's leave that for another day. Now, secondly, the NFF came out with the disbursement process and how clubs and of course national teams will get the money. I'm also not happy. Why? Because they left out one particular national team, which happens to be the beach soccer. One of the coach came out and said they've not been paid backlogs of salary, and yet they still did not benefit from the FIFA relief fund. It's all national teams, mind you. That's secondly. Now the disbursement process, we know what clubs would get from the national team to all national teams, all club sides, both the NNL, the NPFL. Good one. Now you talked about the money sometimes being audio money. This time around, it's not going to be audio money because there will be full accountability of how the money is spent. What I also have my worry is this. Amaju Pili came out and told you and I, and of course Nigerians at large, that the Super Eagles needs $150,000 to prosecute 2 games. Now, after build out the whole disbursement process,
yes,
the Super Eagles made $200,000 from got $200,000 from the relief fund. Now, remember he said we need $150,000. So he has now $50,000 extra. That's another thing. Now also, the sharing formula, the ratio, is where I have also a very, very big issue. Now, sorry, listen. To all those who don't know, I am not a critic of Amaju. The only time I can criticize anybody is when you're not doing things right, and I criticize constructively. Why? I've always been a big, huge fan of Amaju Pini because of his marketing skill and ability, and of course how he has used that to transform the Nigerian football system. But also, like I would always tell people, there's a difference between a leader and a boss.
Definitely.
Now, not all bosses are leaders. I keep telling people this. Now, that's what Amaju is trying to show you and I, to tell the world. Now, there's been this report that it doesn't carry its subordinates along. It takes decision on its own. You understand? And that's why I think, as a leader, you need to carry others along. Because if you're leading...
But there are some decisions you also have to make on your own. It's not all the time you become democratic.
Look at Kenny. Now, in the NFF, there's a committee. Every department, in the medical department, the media department, there are committees. You understand? Now, every state FA chairman, in one way or the other, belong to the NFF, are members of the NFF.
Okay.
You understand? And if you're not carrying them along, then it simply means you are doing you're running your administration in isolation. Now let's leave that apart. What is the exchange rate a dollar to a naira? 486, if I'm not mistaken. Now in the CBN exchange rate is 368. Now the problem also that I think this proceeds will have is which of the rates exactly is the NFF using to disburse this money? Because if you're getting this money direct from FIFA and CAF in dollars, why not pay these clubs and the national team in dollars? Why do you want to change it to naira?
No, because in Nigeria, usually there is a law that you don't spend dollars. That's why even when they talk about the loans that Nigeria obtained from abroad, all the loans came in dollars. But when people want to be a little bit colorful and mischievous, they transfer it back to naira, knowing fully well that the exchange rate is at the time when some were taken and now is now like 3 times. So by the time they now mix it up, so anything that's spent in Nigeria, in terms of what you got, has to be said in dollars, but in terms of what you spend, has to be spent in naira.
Now, this is not spending. This is disbursement. Now, every club. Hold on, sorry.
What do you mean? What do you mean? It's not spending? It's disbursement.
Hold on. Let me explain.
It has to be in naira.
Hold on. No, Tomisin, hold on. Now, the money came in from FIFA and CAF in dollars. And every club side in Nigeria, they have a domiciliary account. You understand? Now, this domiciliary account, every money that comes in, they transfer players. They get money from different club sides where they transfer players to, and they pay in dollars. You understand?
But how do they pay their players normally? Our players in Nigeria, even Nigeria.
That's Nigerian players.
And now that's what I'm saying. Nigerian players. Let's say for example,
it's the club that will give these guys the money in naira.
Okay.
The Super Eagles are paid in dollars.
In Nigeria.
Yes. If they play in Delta State, they are paid in dollars.
So they can as well be given.
That's what I'm saying. If all these clubs, virtually all of them have got a domiciliary account.
But is that supposed to be?
Well, there's a new norm, like we say since the COVID-19 era. A new norm.
Yes.
It's been there for long. Now, when I said clubs and of course other national teams will raise eyebrows. If you're paying them in dollars, now the CBN rate is 368.
Yeah.
Now the parallel market, the black market like we call it, is 4. Now why not use the normal? Now if they go by the CBN rate, the NFF will be making nothing less than 164 million naira from that money. Does that shock you?
No, it doesn't. But that's how they can trade it.
Now,
the only way to trade it. You can't trade with the bureau de change directly.
Now the CBN, you and I know if you're changing now. If you're changing now, you're changing with 300. I'm only just telling you the CBN rate, fine.
That's what it is.
Now, the normal rate that you and I know, the exchange rate is 486.
Because you take your dollar by the hand to the malam and go to change on the street.
God bless you. Now, that's what I'm saying. Now, should the NFF go with the CBN rate?
Yes.
They hold them now. Guys, hold on. They hold the extra 164 million naira in naira now. Now that means $82 will be available for the NFF. Now multiply $82 times the 2 million. You understand? Now in naira it's 164 million naira. So the NFF now should not tell us that they are looking for money to prosecute other national teams.
No, but
they will be having excess of money left.
Stanley, this is where I will have a problem with that analysis. For example, the CBN, any money that comes into the NFF, for example, has to be traded with the CBN.
No doubt about that.
So they can't make extra money.
So who?
Except you're saying that they're going to have some left back.
That's what I'm saying.
After they are done. But what they will have left cannot be the difference between the bureau de change price and the CBN price. It can't be, because they cannot go to the open market to go and trade the dollar.
Don't get me wrong. Now, this is what I'm trying to say now. Yeah.
I'm just getting where you get the 82 from. That's my concern.
That's what I'm saying. I only have to make a balance here. From the CBN market and of course the bureau de change market. That's what I'm trying to say.
But you're talking about the difference.
The difference. That's what I'm saying. That's $82 difference.
Exactly.
You understand? Now you multiply $82 times $2 million.
But they're not going to get that $82. That's what I'm saying.
Well, you never can tell.
They're not going to get
that's between the NFF and the CBN.
Because it's now going to become money laundering. Because why would you now take dollar in a bullion van to the Burundi change to go change directly so that you can have more money? It makes no sense.
Well, that's for the NFF.
Because the money is domiciled with the CBN as we speak. The money in question is domiciled with the CBN and apparently is meant to be disbursed.
The money came direct into the NFF account, not CBN.
Which is usually domiciled with the CBN.
Let's talk about NFF as the authority, the authority.
Over the money. That's what I'm saying.
NFF decides.
So the ratio, God bless you, how I want to exchange my money, they decide.
They make decisions.
Where is the money didn't come from the federal government to the CBN.
Exactly.
It came from FIFA and CAF.
CBN is just a storekeeper.
It's as simple as that.
No. So I'll be waiting for you to tell me exactly where they're going, because they're going to tell you that money was exchanged by the CBN rate in the banks, and I don't know what you're talking about. I used to join you in that interest. Because then official people will follow the rules. That's our Stanley and let's go. I don't understand what about. But Amaju Piri is apparently not going to go for second term. Third term, rather. He's not going to go for a new term, right?
With all this.
But with all of the impact he has made. With all of the impact he has been, I think him saying up front that he's not going for a new term is laudable, right?
He has his reason.
Stanley, you're not going to be in trouble, but we need to go. Stanley, how do you close this morning?
Well, like I said earlier, leaders are leaders, bosses are bosses. Not all bosses are leaders. But leaders sometimes can be your boss.
Food for thought. Inga Kenny.
Well, I just want to tell everybody to be good, stay well, and COVID-19 is not on holidays, somewhere around the corner. So make sure you're still taking good care of yourself. Yinka Kenny is my name.
Stanley Polika.
All right, Stanley forgot to mention his name right there, but Stanley, thank you so much for joining us on the bumper process this morning. I will look forward to having Stanley give us more theories. This time about the European Football League sometime on Thursday. My name is Tomisin. Have a beautiful day. I'll see you again tomorrow morning. Bye. Bye.